Baker's interesting, and I did a riff on him about 3 weeks ago because he took shots at the New York Giants, not the team, the New York Giants, but the fans, saying at least in Cleveland the guys are going to show up. We love Odell, and Odell, he's going to be appreciated in Cleveland like he wasn't appreciated in New York. He was appreciated in New York. He was just a knucklehead, and so some people were upset to see him go. Some weren't. But he speaks, and he says things, and he has opinions, and he ruffles feathers, and he doesn't really care. And I wonder, at the time I said, I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback like that. Quarterbacks play the straight and narrow. They give you the rote answer. They keep it simple. We're going to give 110%. I'm just trying to be the best that I can be. I'm going to rise up the guys around me. Baker's the antithesis of that. And I wonder if that's good. It's good for the Browns. I think it's good for him. But is that good for the long term of him as a quarterback?
This isn't your boy Eli, that's for sure.
No,
I mean, he is the opposite of the Mannings, of Tom Brady. And
any of them.
I'm more interested to see when Odell has his moments. Because Odell's going to have his moments now.
Yeah.
Can Baker get in his face over and over again during the season? And if things aren't going well, I mean, I'm anticipating the Browns to have a good season this year. How can they not, when you look at their roster, how can they not succeed this year? But things happen, injuries happen, bad games happen. We talked about how close this NFL league is. How do him and Odell mingle and communicate when things aren't going great in Cleveland?
Look, that's exactly right, because you can do crazy, right? But you can't have multiple people doing crazy. No. So eventually, someone has to evolve. It's not. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be Odell Beckham Jr. So it has to be Baker Mayfield. So for the sake of his career, and he said this in this interview, and they touched on a lot of things about his nickname and Odell, obviously, the expectations that have been now set for this Cleveland Browns team. They were, basically in the outhouse. Now they're at the penthouse. People expect him to go to the Super Bowl for Christ's sakes. It's crazy. But he also talked about how he's never going to change. It's just who he is. We saw him in college. Mm-hmm. We saw him in his first year in the NFL. It's exciting as hell. But, I mean, for the sake of his career, doesn't he have to calm down?
No.
Doesn't he have to become more in line like every successful quarterback we've ever seen in the National Football League?
Yeah, call me a millennial or whatever you want to call me, but I think we've grown up, or at least I have, in this age of social media, of reality TV, where people are just loud and boisterous. I mean, that's who they are, and that's what you get used to seeing day in and day out. So why not have that for a quarterback who is on every ESPN cover, who's out there in the media every single day, who's on I pull up my laptop, it's something to do with the Browns. So why not just invest in yourself and be that personality? Look, so I don't hate it. And as long as his teammates don't hate it, I don't care.
But see, they won't hate it until they go through a stretch where he plays terrible and he's got to answer the questions and he's defiant. Maybe he says something that rubs somebody the wrong way. He's already done this once, by the way, with Duke Johnson in the offseason when Duke requested to be traded, and he came at him, like, I want guys that want to be here. And, he demeaned Duke. And while it felt kind of cool, like, yeah, he's standing up, be here, you got a contract, some of his guys in that locker room took exception to it. So if they're winning, of course, you can do whatever you want. But as soon as you're not winning, and while we have high expectations, there's a good chance they're going to hit some bumps in the road. That's when it gets dicey, right? And that's when he has to conform. And I don't know if he wants to, or knows how to.
Listen, he's the walk-on. He's going to play with a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to let everyone know that I am who I am. And I have nothing wrong with it as long as you back it up. And you're going out there producing, which I think he will. Like, at the end of the day, you can always say, oh, I don't want to talk trash and I don't want to step on people's toes because I may go out there and not perform. And I'm worried. He doesn't care because he is so confident in his ability to go out there and dominate.
But Aaron, if Jalen Ramsey does that, it's one thing. And he shows up in, 5 plays out of 80, right? But if Baker Mayfield that talks trash, he's a target every single time he's in the game. You know what I mean? So that's dangerous,
You're not used to seeing it's the problem.
Dude, you've never seen it.
Exactly. So
seriously, tell me
everyone's always scared of the unknown of like we're used to, like you said, button up. Let me wear my tie. I show up to the games. I
Even
do my
Cam
performance.
Newton does this, right? Even Cam Newton shows up. He's a little spiffier than most of these QBs, but even he's a little spiffy. He tries to say the right thing. You know what I mean?
I don't hate it. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can say.
I'm not saying I hate it.
But you're not used to it, though. That's the problem. It's the unknown.
Aaron, I don't know if it'll work. I just don't know.
It worked last year, and it's worked his entire.
But they had nothing. But here's the thing:
when he's screaming at guys in college, and he's grabbing himself in inappropriate ways and flicking dudes off. That's a major charge. If I'm a defensive end, I'm like, I'm gonna rip this dude out. But also,
it's also college. It's also college. We're not talking about 265
but there's more protection,
pound behemoths.
But there's more protection for quarterbacks in the NFL than there's college.
That's a good point.
So as a defensive end, you want to go rip his head off, but you're also like, I don't want to get fined $30,000 as well. So
great point.
Maybe I'll knock him down or suspend it. Maybe I'll knock him down.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go that extra mile, which I may do facing him in college. So I think the majority of that locker room has bought into the Baker Mayfield way. I think they have. There may be a little thing here or there and some guys, but there's going to be still a veteran presence there in Cleveland that if he goes overboard, I'm sure they're going to reel him in. I don't think Freddie Kitchens will be, though. I've been around Freddie Kitchens. I don't think Freddie Kitchens is a type of coach that's going to tell Baker to stop. So then, I don't think he's a strong enough personality to deal with Baker.
So let's back up here. We're talking about Baker Mayfield, his attitude. He had a great interview in Complex. It really describes him, and I think it hits him to a T. So it's a really good job that they did. But he's presenting this persona that's almost reckless, and it's okay when you're playing well. It's okay, just like you said last year, when the expectation was the Browns are going to suck. And do we really care? Baker's going to get in there, and he's going to be fun. He's going to be college Baker. He's going to be Oklahoma Baker, and we're going to like it. We're going to enjoy it. If they win, great. If they lose, great. We don't really care. This year we care. And so I think it's reckless because if it starts to go off the rails, where does he go from there, right? There's no